Today, the gruesome, heroic story of a Kiwi caught on the front line of war. It's nearly 4 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, and the number of deaths, injuries and missing from the fighting is close to 2 million. That's according to a new report by the Centre for Strategic and International Studies. And of course, the fallout goes far beyond the battleground.
This is one apartment block in one city in Ukraine, but it tells a much wider story of how Russia has brought its war into people's homes by targeting power stations and turning off the heat, electricity and water for millions of families in the middle of winter when temperatures are well below zero.
I think exhaustion is the hardest part. Every day you have to fight, you have to survive. You're not really living, days just blur into one another. There is no Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday anymore. It is just one continuous day of survival.
Three-way peace talks are ongoing. So too is the fighting. We're at day 1,433. So what is it really like on the front line of a war, and what happens when a soldier is badly injured? Well, in a special episode of The Detail, RNZ Checkpoint's Lisa Owen brings us that story. A Kiwi who went to fight for Ukraine had his ankle blown off, but was stuck in a bunker in agony for several days before getting to safety. 25-year-old Khol Gillies is from Hawke's Bay. He's recovering now after his leg was amputated. We'll get to his reasons for leaving the safety of New Zealand to go to a battleground, including an important family connection. But Lisa spoke to Khol and his wife Jasmine from his hospital bed in Europe. He's handling it with classic Kiwi no-fuss humour.
I'm going very good. I'm going fabulous. Just the boredom is getting to me, but I'm healing very quickly. Still have my Kiwi spirit, which has helped me a lot.
Yeah, tell me about that. How has it been since you arrived at hospital?
Well, it was good to get off the front line and stop being shot at. That was amazing. And to get some good food and just have a break, really.
What do you remember about the day when you were injured?
Well, it happened quite quickly. My brain still muddled it up into a quick 10-minute skit in my head. I still need to process it because I've just been dealing with the physical side of the damage.
Yeah, so on that day, we don't want to talk about exactly where you were, but generally, what happened?
What happened was, we're manning our positions as per usual. We came under a heavy attack, and amongst the fray, my comrades' weapons were destroyed, and we were running out of ammunition, and mine was the only functioning firearm, so I had to take point and obviously protect the group. And amongst all that, we started getting hit with drones, artillery, bullet fire, small arms fire. Yeah, you're just throwing me back a bit. I'm just like, fire, yeah.
Just take your time, Khol.
It happened quite quickly. I suppose just my training and instincts really kicked in, and I wasn't really thinking too much. I was just doing.
Do you know where it came from, Khol? Was it a drone strike?
The small arms fire was coming from east, and the artillery was all around. The drones, those were coming from all directions. And yeah, it was just chaotic. It was real hard to think about where is it coming from, and all I knew is we had to get out.
At that point, were you injured, Khol, when you thought to yourself, I've got to get out of here?
Yes. My ankle had been blown off, and I knew from then on we had to really get out of there quick. So as we're making our way out, amongst what was happening, I sustained more injuries within maybe a 5-minute window.
So did your comrades help you get out?
Yes, I was providing covering fire, or they made their way to a more secured position. And then once they were there, I then made my way, and they were covering me from there. But due to my ankle being blown off, I was a bit sluggish and slow, and I couldn't really hear too well either. My left eardrum had been blown out, so I couldn't quite hear the drones coming. It happened so quickly, but I do remember looking down, seeing my injuries, and thinking, shit, I want to live. So I just started running. The adrenaline was pumping, and as soon as I got to safety, I just dived in the hole. First thing I did, actually, I reached down and checked my reproductive organs. Those were still intact, and so I was very happy.
Cole, you haven't lost your sense of humour.
No, thank you. They can take my leg, but not my sense of humour.
Why did you decide to go to Ukraine in the first place? Cole, tell us about that.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I've had many reasons, many reasons to come here. I think the main one was just service. I've always wanted to serve in some capacity since I was a kid, and hearing the stories from one of my grandfathers, the late Sir Robert Bomb Gillies, that was very inspiring to me, and I've always just felt good about helping out in those regards. I feel like it's an honour to serve and help, no matter where it is, as long as, in my mind, the cause is righteous in some sort of sense. Another reason why I came over was I felt like I had the capacity and the will to do something, and me just being back at home, knowing that I had those things and was doing nothing about it, was eating away at me, and I probably wouldn't be happy with myself knowing that I could have helped do something.
Had you been a soldier before, Cole?
Professionally, no. I have had a little amount of military training, but mostly paramilitary.
Jasmine, I'm wondering what you thought when Cole decided he was going to Ukraine.
Initially, when he first told me, I had mixed emotions about it, but I supported what he wanted to do. I knew this was something he felt strongly about, and I just wanted to support him in any way I could.
When you got to relative safety, I understand it was a really complicated thing to get you out of there. What happened? How long did you have to wait?
So I had to wait 4 to 5 days. Maybe it was 4 days and maybe 16 hours due to the weather, because we needed rain, fog. Fog is the only time that you can really maneuver around. So the drones can't use their thermals or their optics. It's pretty much a no-fly zone when the fog is out. So that's all we're waiting for, was some bad weather, which is good weather.
So were you pinned down in the same spot, Cole, that whole time? 4 days plus?
Yes, we're pinned down in the same spot. I was still pulling radio and guard duty. That's about all I could still contribute to our team. It wasn't too bad. I was just laying down, watching the door, manning the radio. My comrades were attending to my needs and pretty much being my medics for me. They were digging, doing all that sort of stuff.
But effectively your
But,
foot had been blown off.
Yes, well, it was it was still attached to me via my boot and sock and the skin. It was completely blown off. So it's just flappy, kind of. My leg had a gash in it from my foot to the knee. That was, how long was that? It was probably like a 10, 15 centimetre gash in my leg from the knee to the ankle that was protruding to the bone. So the bone was exposed and my knee was completely shattered.
What kept you going, Khol? What or who were you thinking about?
Just my family, really, and my comrades at the front that were with me.
Were you thinking about Jasmine?
Yes, I was thinking about her. At one point, I did think about dying because of the pain. I can't describe the pain. It was horrible.
Did you speak to Jasmine while you were there for those 4.5 days? Did you get a chance to speak to her at all?
No cell phones, no cell towers, no nothing.
So Jasmine, how did you find out that Khol had been injured and when did you find out?
I actually found out, I think, days after he was actually injured. I don't know how to explain it, but I had this weird feeling that something bad had happened, and I reached out to one of his friends in his unit, and he got back to me and he confirmed my suspicions that something had happened to Khol. And yeah, that's how I found out that he was injured.
At that point, did you know exactly what had happened or how bad it was?
I think he didn't want to worry me too much, but he did explain to me that it was quite serious and that Khol was in the middle of being evacuated and it had something to do with his leg, and that's all I knew.
So Khol, when help did come finally, what was that like?
Oh, that was much of a relief. I was still very skeptical about getting out because the most dangerous part about that is obviously infilling to the position. So getting there and getting out is the most dangerous part of it. And how I got out was via a ground drone. It's like a big fancy RC car, pretty much. So I was pulled out of our little bunker on a stretcher by 3 of my comrades. This was at probably 3 in the morning, nice and foggy, nice and dark. We had to navigate me through a minefield, and that was tough. And I waited at another position for maybe half an hour until the drone arrived. And then they loaded me up on the drone. And that was the longest ride I've ever been on. That lasted about 4 hours to get me out. These things go at maybe 10, at the maximum 15 Ks an hour. And during that trip, I ended up getting hypothermia. And it was really cold. I kept singing all sorts of songs just to pass the time, like the national anthem.
The New Zealand national anthem, Khol.
Yeah, I was just singing that. I was singing Staying Alive, all sorts of songs just to pass the time and just take my mind off it. And yeah, that kind of kept me going. Just anything really, just to take my mind off what was happening.
Must have been agonising, psychologically and also physically.
More physically for me because I'm about 6 foot, fairly decent sized bloke, and the machine that I was on was a bit smaller than me, so my legs were hanging out the front and I had to keep holding them up because they kept getting caught on the dirt and just foliage while this drone was going. And there were also other enemy drones that would hover above me. And I was just wondering, will I get hit and die here or something?
Khol, when you got to hospital, how long before you found out that you were going to lose that leg? And how did they tell you?
I actually knew instantly from the first day after being hit and staying in the bunker that I was going to lose the leg. I had 2 tourniquets on for those 5 days, and the blood loss, I lost, I think, 50% of my blood, and we couldn't stop the bleeding, so I couldn't convert the tourniquet. And from then on, I just kind of knew that, it had to come off, and it didn't look good. But as I said before, my reproductive organs were good. I still had my hands, so I can play the PlayStation. So I was quite not happy, but I was somewhat content with my injuries. I mean, it still sucks having no leg, but it's not as bad as it could have been, and I'm one of the lucky ones. And actually, during the 4 days, this might sound a little bit gross because it was pretty gross. I woke up one morning to nibbling, the sound of nibbling. And I look over at my comrade and I said, "Hey, all the food is locked up, right?" And he said, "Yeah, it's in the cases. Everything's locked up." And I thought, what's that nibbling then? So I look down at my leg and I see 2 bloody rats there. And I'm thinking, holy shit, they're eating my leg.
The realities of war, right? The
realities of
unbelievable.
war. I wouldn't say it's part of the work, getting eaten by rats, but it is part of the work, getting injured.
Do you have any regrets about going?
None at all. None at all. Maybe putting my wife through all of this. No, I have no regrets. My comrades are saying if I didn't do what I did, they most likely would have died and I would have still had my leg. But I'm very happy that wasn't the outcome.
Jasmine, you did a mercy dash to Europe when you found out what had happened. What was that like for you, and when you finally got to see Khol?
Yes, I think I booked my tickets within 2 days of finding out that he had been injured. I just knew I just needed to get there to be with him and support him in any way that I could. When I finally got to Ukraine with the help from Kiwi Care, it was hard. I was nervous to see him. I hadn't seen him for 6 months. And I was trying to stay strong for him. I didn't want to cry when I seen him because I knew he would already be going through it. I didn't want to put any more stress on him or put my emotions on him or anything like that. But it was extremely hard.
What is the plan now for you guys and treatment? Because there's going to be a long road ahead, isn't there?
After this, I will be going to rehabilitation to get a prosthetic fixed and learn how to pretty much walk again, which I'm starting to do as much as I can here now. I've started doing press-ups again just to regain some strength, and I'll see how that goes. I'm looking at maybe 3 months it'll take me. I'm healing pretty quick. And then I will return to my unit once I'm cleared at rehab just to carry on with my duties and finish my contract.
And what will that involve? You're not going back on the battlefield, are you?
At this moment, no. No, I'm not too keen to get back out there. I think perhaps a bit of pride or ego in myself does want to go back out there, not in that capacity that I was doing before, but just to know and see that I'm still well and truly capable, because it has taken a bit of a toll on me like that, because I do feel kind of useless and just, I don't know how to say it, not my former self. I feel...
But you're a new version of you, Cole, and you're useful.
Yes, that's it.
Jasmine, what have you said to him about going back?
I told him that if he went back and something happened, I'd be very, very angry because of just coming here, being in Ukraine myself, experiencing missile attacks. It's been a lot, and yeah, I would be very angry if something happened.
So when Cole is well enough and you get your new prosthetic leg, Cole, are you ready to come back to New Zealand, and is that your aim?
Yes, that is my aim. I dearly miss home and everything we have at home. I have such a more deeper appreciation for everything in our country. Just the way of life, like every little thing that I used to take for granted before, that's completely vanished. And I'm thoroughly looking forward to a steak and cheese pie and some pavlova.
I'm sure someone can arrange that.
And Cole has been awarded Ukraine's Medal of Valour for bravery. Also, another note, Jasmine got to Ukraine with the help of Tenby Powell, chair of Kiwi Care, that's Kiwi Aid and Refugee Evacuation Services for Ukraine. That's it for today. The Detailer is a newsroom production supported by RNZ and NZ On Air. This episode was produced by Gwen McClure and engineered by Jeremy Ansell. Our thanks and best wishes to Cole and Jasmine Gillies for sharing their incredible story with Lisa Owen. Mā te wā.